Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. Today let's talk about KDP and specifically how to sell more books with KDP. KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing, is Amazon's self-publishing platform. It can be a very powerful tool for selling books, and the platform has seen a number of huge success stories. Luke Jennings' novella codenamed Villanelle was originally published through KDP, and now it's the basis for the BBC series Killing Eve. I can't necessarily tell you how to reach the level of success where your book is going to be adapted into a TV show, but there are a number of ways that you can use the platform more to your advantage and sell more copies of your book. The formula for book sales is quite simple. Traffic times conversion equals sales. Traffic being how many people see your book, and conversion being the number of those people that actually buy it. On its own, traffic doesn't really do anything. You could have tons of people coming to your book's Amazon page, but if you don't have good conversion, you're not going to get any sales. You want to avoid all these virtual book shoppers from kind of window shopping, where they see your book and then they just move on. Similarly, you could have a book that converts very well, but if you're getting low traffic, you're still not going to have strong sales. Both are very important factors, but on Amazon, conversion is especially important. Because Amazon is a search engine, it also makes recommendations to its users based on their previous browsing history. So basically what you want to do is to get Amazon to start recommending your book. Amazon and you ultimately have the same goal, which is to sell a lot of books. Therefore, Amazon is going to continually promote books that it thinks sell well. Therefore, if you have a book with strong traffic but really weak conversion, the algorithm will note that and Amazon will stop promoting your book. For that reason, you want to start by optimizing your book's product pages, meaning a polished cover, strong description, and some reviews. Let's start with cover, because cover is one of your most important and crucial marketing tools. So although there are lots of self-published books out there that have really weak cover design, you're also competing against traditionally published books, and a lot of them will have some pretty beautiful covers. And you want your cover to hold its ground amongst them. A weak cover means readers will probably just pass right over your book and keep looking. It should be polished and eye-catching, as well as in line with genre conventions. It might seem like kind of a nice idea to break out of the mold and do something different. But if your book looks like something that it isn't, it's not going to convert well. A fantasy book should look like a fantasy book. A thriller should look like a thriller. Take a browse at the books in your genre and you'll see a lot of recurring elements in the covers. You also want a cover that looks good thumbnail sized. Along with cover, you want a strong description. Now, we have an entire video on this topic. I will leave that in the cards and in the description for you to check out. But remember that the description is more than just a synopsis. Very few, if any, people are going to pick up a book after reading a description and kind of just going, well, sounds kind of boring. Now let's talk about reviews. Reviews are a very important factor. They're a way to kind of vet the book's quality. You want to actively curate reviews, ideally before the book has even launched. This means sending your book out to bloggers or ARC reviewers. If you want to learn more about this, I will leave a blog post on the topic linked in the description. The number of reviews is actually more important than just the rating themselves. As long as the rating doesn't drop below an average of 3.5 stars, a couple negative reviews doesn't really have a negative impact. In fact, a book that has only a few 5-star reviews can actually look kind of suspicious. It makes it look like maybe you just recruited your friends and family to all give your book 5 stars. And finally, you want a bio. A bio is a way to just make the book look a little more personal and kind of just give a personal connection to your reader. You can set up a bio on Amazon Author Central, which is kind of a dashboard that all authors publishing through KDP have access to. If you want some tips and tricks on how to write a bio, I've got a video on that linked in the description. Now let's talk about what you probably all came here for. How to leverage the Amazon algorithm. Now there are many ways to market off platform, but let's focus for now on marketing through the Amazon platform and using the algorithm to your best advantage. If you do so smartly, you can get to a point where Amazon is basically doing the bulk of the marketing for you by recommending your book to other readers. It requires some strategy to get there, but once you do, it's pretty nice because you're just getting Amazon to do all the heavy lifting. So let's start by talking a little about the mystical Amazon algorithm. It works on a pretty simple principle. It recommends books that it thinks people are going to buy. The number one factor for this is how well your book is already selling. The more you sell, the more Amazon goes, that sells, and tries to sell it to more people. You can estimate how many copies a book is selling through something called the Amazon bestseller rank. You can go to any book on Amazon, scroll down to the product details, find the ABSR, and plug the number into a rank to sales calculator, and it'll tell you how many copies the book is selling per day. For some estimates, number 1 to 5 is probably selling around 5,000 copies a day. Number 500 is probably selling around 200 copies a day. Number 10,000 is probably selling around 20 copies a day. Now, this doesn't automatically mean that if you sell 5,000 copies in a day, you'll get to number 1. It does depend a lot on who you're competing against. Say a very popular best-selling author has also just launched a book in your category. You're now competing against them. And you also need to maintain the spot for a couple days in order for the algorithm to start prioritizing you. Amazon's algorithm is a bit suspicious of books that get a huge spike of traffic and then plummet right away. The algorithm much prefers books that get a spike of traffic and are able to maintain it for at least a few days. A huge factor in this is the popularity list. Now, funny enough, for something so important, it actually is a little hard to find. You need to go to the Kindle store homepage and you'll find a list of genres under the Kindle store. And from there, you can find a popularity list for different genres. So even though it's actually kind of hard to find, the reason it's important is because it drives Amazon's recommendation emails specifically for Kindle Unlimited users. And the algorithm here is different than the one that determines the ABSR. First of all, it's on a 30-day rolling average, so it's not based on the previous day's bestseller list. And it also takes free downloads into consideration. Unlike the ABSR, it's also weighted by price, and it doesn't account for pages read from Kindle Unlimited subscribers. Because it works on a different model, that means that you can also kind of take advantage of it. If people download it while it's free, say while you're doing a free promotion, it will shoot up the popularity list. That can then boost the book's discoverability, give you more sales, and then increase your Amazon bestseller rank, which then continues to boost your discoverability even more. Another thing to pay attention to is the hot new releases list. Amazon gives extra exposure to books in the first 30 days after their release. And so you want to make the most of those 30 days. Again, this list isn't easy to find, it's quite hidden in the sidebar, but it's often featured on the Kindle homepage and also recommended through emails. It's basically just like the bestsellers list, except it's only for books released within the past 30 days. Now, in order to benefit from this, you need to make the Amazon category system work for you. Now, there are a lot of Amazon categories. In fact, there's more than 10,000, ranging from the very general to the most hyper niche. Now, when you publish your book, you're prompted to select 2 categories, but you can select up to 8 more. You do this by contacting Amazon post-publication through your KDP account. And it's a very worthwhile extra step. Not all subcategories are available through the publication dashboard. This is important because some categories are much more competitive than others. If you can slot your book into a more niche category, say one with under 10,000 books, you have a much better chance of finding prime real estate, aka climbing the bestsellers and popularity lists. If you can hit number 1, you'll also get a bestseller badge, which will really help in your conversion. However, this is also a balancing act. If you target the most niche subcategories, there aren't really any buyers. You need to strike a balance between categories that are so general that they're extremely competitive to genres that are so niche no one's going to look at them. If you want to learn even more about Amazon categories and how to work within them, we've got an entire course on the topic and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Next, let's talk the importance of keywords. When you choose your categories, you also choose 7 keywords to tag your book with. Amazon then uses those keywords to index your book for search results. The logic here is basically the same as with categories, so I won't rehash it, but essentially you want to choose keywords that have high search potential but aren't so general as to become oversaturated. Another important factor is Amazon also bots. Now, this one can be a bit of a balancing act, but it's very important. These are products that buyers purchased before or after your book. This is very central to Amazon's recommendation system, and ideally, Amazon would be recommending your book in the also bots of similar books. Amazon will continue to promote books bought by similar people to those who haven't bought both books yet. Now, this can be a great tool, but it can also be a bit of a downfall. So here's kind of an example. Let's say that you have a blog about knitting and you've published a couple manuals on knitting. Your blog is quite popular, but you decide to branch out and write a crime thriller novel. Now, because you already have a large following on your blog, you post on your blog or send out a newsletter saying that you've published this crime thriller. Now, even though most of your target audience isn't that interested in crime thrillers, they're your fans and they support you, so a lot of them go out and buy your book. However, as a result, your crime thriller then starts popping up in the recommendeds of knitting manuals. Therefore, you're not really reaching your target audience. This is dangerous because if Amazon starts recommending your book to the completely wrong target audience, it won't convert well, no one will buy it, and Amazon will stop recommending it. This means you need to set yourself up really well and quite strategically during your book launch. Analyze your categories, look at the bestseller ranks, and you can get an idea of the number of copies that you'll need to sell to rank well. Then you want to plan specific promotional efforts for every single day. If you want more ideas on marketing strategies that you can use when making a book launch or promotional plan, we've got a series of videos on the topic and I will leave a link to that in the description. A few specific things you can do include running a price promotion. This can be a great way to get a visibility boost on your book. What you would do is put the book on a discounted price and really concentrate your marketing efforts to get as much traffic to the book. A lower price is a natural conversion booster, and Amazon often prioritizes books that are on discount, especially if you're doing it through a KDP countdown deal. If you want to learn more about KDP Select, we've got an entire video on that topic, again linked in the description. You also want to make the most of your existing audience. If you have an existing audience or platform, try to promote to them as long as they won't pollute your also bot. Cross promotion with other authors is also a great tactic. Plenty of indie authors will do newsletter swaps and promote to each other across their mailing lists or on each other's social platforms. And finally, you might choose to run some ads. The three main advertising platforms authors use are Facebook ads, Amazon ads, and BookBub ads, and we've got courses that you can take for free on all three of those. I will leave all of them linked in the description. Finally, if this wasn't enough for you and you want to learn even more about the Amazon algorithm, we do have an entire course on the topic of the Amazon algorithm. So again, I will leave that linked in the description. So that's how to sell more through KDP. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got writing, editing, and publishing tips coming at you every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.